Hi, I'm Anjani Kumar, CEO of Bonescreen. We are building a software that will help screen the population by detecting bone diseases early and save lives. We started off as a research group at Technical University of Munich under the supervision of Jan Kirschke, who is our co-CEO. He had been researching bone for more than 20 years, and all of us were working together for a long time, and then we built a software which seemed to have a lot of reception in the community. And this software is a spine screening software, a spine analysis software, let's call it. And we were surprised by the reception, and we explored a bit more, and we thought that there is demand for this, which prompted us to build this company and look a little deeper into spine and spine analysis.
Our mission is to be able to prevent as many fractures and to cure as many patients as we can. All of that while making the lives of the doctors easier.
So the main idea of the company is a mix of neuroradiology, healthcare, computer science and AI, and it mostly deals with taking an existing medical image, processing it, and trying to extract as many biomarkers as possible, evidence-based biomarkers, which will help us identify bone diseases early.
Imagine like a patient comes in from a car accident and they would immediately get a CT scan to make sure, for example, there is no internal bleeding. What we want to do is that we want to make the best use out of that CT scan that's only used to confirm that there is no bleeding. For us, this is information that no one's looking at, and we want to look at it ourselves to make sure there is nothing else. We are developing the technology and the means to be able to do opportunistic screening of osteoporosis. We hope that we can give you the earliest diagnosis possible so that you can start treatment as soon as possible.
The core of the product is to take a CT image and give it some structure. As you can see there, first we segment the vertebra, and then we segment every vertebra into subregions, because we want to know we want to extract the core of the vertebra, which is called the trabecular bone. Once you extract the core of the vertebra, you calibrate the CT scan. As you can see there, you will calibrate the CT scan and compute what is called the bone mineral density. So what you see there is the bone mineral density. A green indicates a strong bone and a red indicates a weak bone. Right? And this is what we want to extract at the end of the day. What you just saw is behind the scenes. What the radiologist will actually see in his or her screen is that they'll see the image that was taken of the patient, and then right next to the image they'll see a report which will have this curve, right? And it will have this point for every patient and tell you if the patient is osteopenic, osteoporotic, or it has severe osteoporosis, right? So it's very easy, and all this is based on clinically validated biomarkers. And another product, as a byproduct of whatever research we did, is SpineR. It's a research tool right now, and its main job is to help you structure the image, right? As you can see here, it can segment the spine, identify the centroids, and then interestingly, especially for neurosurgical companies or surgical robotic companies, you can get those points of interest around the vertebra. For example, these could be screw placement points, right, for where you put the screw in a weak vertebra.
Well, basically at Bonescreen, we are aiming to develop software to help patients. More particularly, we aim to target diseases which are not really paid attention to in real life, mainly because it happens over time and usually it targets a specific group of society. In our case, it's the elderly people.
The world is aging, right? And osteoporosis is extremely common. 33% of women and almost 20% of men will have osteoporotic fracture, right? In the hip, in the spine. Think of your grandfathers and grandmothers. And today, just 25% of these fractures are actually diagnosed. And these are diagnosed after the fracture has occurred. So what happens now is the old age is riddled with problems. They can't be active, they can't do sport, they can't live an active life essentially. With our tool, what we want to do is we want to predict the onset of a fracture, detect the early onset of osteoporosis, because right now, because we work with existing CT scans, this check happens for every image. right? And if a radiologist says, okay, this risk patient seems to be having osteoporosis or is osteopenic, they can already put the patient in a different treatment path. As a result, the patient will probably not have a fracture, will probably have stronger bones in the future, and they will live an active life.
Osteoporosis is not really looked at, and a lot of people have it and they don't know. I mean, in a perfect scenario where no one falls, they don't make a stupid mistake on stairs and fall off two levels of stairs, for example, it's fine. However, when that happens, if a patient has osteoporosis, they will get a fracture. Maybe their hip gets fractured, maybe their legs get fractured, and that's when they would know that they have osteoporosis and it is already too late.
The money that is being spent on the patient for patient care after the fracture has happened, for example, a wheelchair, for example, a nanny, this is completely avoided. The concept of osteoporosis is not that attractive because it's a very slow disease. So there are not a lot of players in the field right now. We have a lot of, let's say, secret recipes inside the tool that will help us give far more reproducible results. And on top of this, I think the most important one is the experience and the diversity of the team. It's this unique collection of skills coming together and building something. We want it to be properly validated, properly evidence-based, right? Tested on thousands of patients and so on. All these, I think, are the unique factors.
So your product is already tested on patients in the real world? Or?
I would not say in the real world, but it is tested on the patients. Yes, because we install this product as research tools in a lot of places.
For me, it's very important to use the state-of-the-art technologies, especially in machine learning and deep learning. It's easy to use such technologies in end customer products or in other less critical market segments. But for us, being able to use such technologies under a heavily regulated environment where patient lives and patient health is at the core of it, this means a lot, and this is the challenge that we really aim to address at Bonescreen.
And also we have heard a lot of radiologists say that they are more convinced about the results that our product generates compared to the competitors. Who else do we need a validation from?
Yes. What are you personally most excited about this new technology?
I'm most excited about the extensibility of our tool. Right? We talked about spine and we talked about CT, but there are so many more avenues we can explore. A lot of other imaging modalities, MR, radiographs. We can explore other parts of the body, right? The wrists, the hands, the legs, and so on. Implementing what we did for spine on all these other modalities is extremely interesting for me personally. So if you ask anyone in the team, I think the next most important milestone is getting CE certified. It validates that the tool works.
Which is basically the market barrier. So basically, as I said previously, we are in a heavily regulated segment, meaning that we need to comply with a lot of laws in order to be able to go to the market, and this is our next big milestone. Hopefully next year our milestones would be more about how many patients we can reach, how many fractures we can prevent, how many osteoporosis patients can be actually helped and saved in time.
We are planning to install the product in, let us say, the central server of every hospital or radiology practice. But we are also looking very seriously at cloud-based deployment, where there will be a lot of practices in rural Europe which will not have their own PACS servers, right? And these radiologists will definitely use the cloud deployment. And that is the eventual aim, because I started off with saying that we want to screen the population, right? Which means that SpineQ, Bonescreen, has to be used by every person at risk.